Hello, I'm Cath and I'm going to show you fast peyote with increases. When you work with big peyote projects, picking up one bead at a time can be really hard on the tendons, and fast peyote is a nice and fast solution to spare tendons somewhat. I'm going to show you this technique on a little petal that I'm making for my fish purse. As you can see, you have one increase on each side. This is valid for triangles or squares or for rickrack with 10, 12, 15 increases and decreases also. For the decreases, I will show you maybe another day when I make a rickrack, but for now, only the increases. When doing fast peyote, you always add one long thread with beads to the beadwork with the number of beads needed for 2 rows. So you have to count well. And then with the next thread, preferably another thread because of thread tension, you attach the beads that are on the thread to the beadwork. I'm going to show you this. First, because this is a peyote with increases, you do your first increase, adding 2 beads at the point. And then you pick up the number of beads necessary for the project, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. 19 beads between this and that bead. And this is my little pile of beads with the colors that I mixed randomly. I like to pick it up like this so that I let the universe decide what bead comes next. When a bead is not really nice, I take it away. So here we have 5, 10, 13, 17 beads. Plus 2. So if you're not sure, count again. 5, 10, 15, 19 beads. Is that correct? 19 beads. So, when you have the right amount of beads on your thread, you stitch through the point at the other end. And then make the next increase on this side too. And again add 19 beads on this side. Five, 10, 5, 10, 15, 19. So you have 19 beads on your other side, and you have to add it to this bead before the increase you just made on this side, like this. You can step up, of course, that's not a point. Now, for thread tension on this portion, it is always a good idea to use a stop bead and stitch through it and create a tension on the thread. Then you take the other thread to make the second pass. So this thread came out of the same spot as before, so you have to step up. And also add 2 beads for an increase. Because you're adding 2 rows at the same time, so you need to do 2 increases. Now your thread comes out of here, this first increase you made in previous row, and the bead your previous row started with. So you need to pick up 1 bead, stitch through the first bead of the 19 you picked up there, and then you stitch. I'll show you this on the other side, that's clearer. So you just added this bead here, then stitch through the first bead of the 19, and then you stitch through the first bead that is in the base, like this. And from here on you don't need to add beads anymore, they're already all on the thread. You skip every bead that has to go on top of the little on the bead over here. You need to catch the one that has to go in the gap and stitch through the next bead in the shape. See? Skip and join the next one. I'm mixing up my threads. Oops. Right? So this portion of thread is very strongly under tension now, because the more you attach them to the beadwork, the more the thread is going to need more allowance. For this you just pull a little bit on the stop bead to give a little more space. And then you continue adding these beads to your beadwork. And you don't need to pick them up individually, which saves your tendons. And when you reach the end, you will have to add beads again. As you can see, the last bead of the 19 over here is attached to the beadwork. You don't have to attach this bead here, but you need to attach it to this one. So you stitch through it like this, and then pick up another bead to step up to make the second increase on this side. Here we go, make the second increase on this side. Here you may need to pull a little bit on your other thread so that it's not too soft at this point. So here you have this little gap to fill too, just as you did before on the other side. Pick up 1 bead, stitch through the first bead of the 19 and then through the first bead in the beadwork. And you continue adding the beads, every other bead to the base. So I do this when I do a rickrack with color scattering. I have a pile of beads with different colors, and I just pick them up randomly, the number of beads I need for 2 rows, and then I stitch through the points and the valleys, and then with the second thread I attach it all to the base. And that is if you don't need to go around the entire beadwork with the first thread. If you notice that you made a mistake, you can always undo it very easily. So now we are at the end of this petal, and you have to go through the last of the 19 and pick up one last bead and step up. There you go. And now you can do another one. Stitch, add 2 beads, and then you have to add not 19 and not 21, but I think 23 beads, because we added 2 rows at the same time. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23. Here we go. Now, if you don't have the right amount of beads added to that edge, 5, 10, 15. Suppose you add too many beads. Then you can explode one bead with this little pricker, like this, in the bead on the thread. However, if you do not add enough beads, you will have a gap, in which case you have to start it over. So it's always better to well count your beads. 23. Let's count again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Pardon me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 23. I added way too many beads. 15, 15. And 23 beads, and add them here. Now you can take off the stop bead of the other thread, stitch it onto this thread, and then make the addition. If you don't like to unthread and rethread with one needle, you can do this with 2 needles, of course. It's not a big deal. Add 2 beads. And add 1 bead. And stitch the base. So now we have nearly added 4 rows in only a few minutes. And I hope that you will have fun trying this and won't give up at the first mistake, because it is really worth the effort. Understanding this, practicing it, and you will have way more fun creating designs. It will take you less time, so you'll have more joy. Voila! Bye bye!